These selfless donors honored Wednesday night at the Mount Sinai Hospital Zweig Center for Living Donations celebration. 50-year-old Heshi Cohen was inspired by his wife to give the gift of life. After she donated to a family member, he decided to be an altruistic kidney donor. Listen to this. We're told his wife, brother, and sister-in-law all donated a kidney. That's 4 members of one family giving the gift of life, and in his case, to a stranger.
So when Elaine, my nurse coordinator, asked me to speak tonight, I had to be honest with her. I told her, Elaine, when I speak, I'm like an airline pilot who knows how to take off, but has no idea how to land. So tonight, I actually wrote everything down and consider this my flight plan. We're going to land this thing safely, I promise. Before I say anything else, I want to take a moment for the team in this room, for the Mount Sinai team, the surgeons, the nurses, the coordinators, Elaine, who walked me through every question, every fear, some of them more than once, the residents, the transplant team, the people I saw for 5 minutes, who may not remember me, but who made sure I walked out of this building whole. What happened to me on November 25th was the biggest day of my life. For you, it was a Tuesday. And somehow you brought the same care, the same skill, the same humanity to my surgery that you bring to thousands of others. That is its own form of giving, and it doesn't get celebrated enough, so thank you. I want to start with something I've been thinking about a lot lately. You live in a world that honors 1,000 kinds of successes. The years someone pours into a career, the patience it takes to raise a family, the courage of starting something from nothing, a hard-won anniversary, a trip of a lifetime, a name remembered. And these things matter. They matter deeply. We should work for them. We should celebrate them. And some of them are miserable life well lived. But I'm here tonight because I've learned something that I wished I could have told, go back to my younger self. Something that took me years and watching the people I love most to truly understand. There's one kind of act that outweighs every one of them. Not louder, not bigger, just deeper. The act of handing over something that belongs to you so that another person gets to keep living. Let me tell you how I learned that. I'll tell you the truth. When my wife first brought up the idea of donating a kidney, I was against it. I wasn't proud of that, but I was honest about it. My instinct, the instinct most of us have, was protective. She's my wife. Why would I want her going under the knife for anyone, even a family member? So I did what I do. I researched, I read, I asked questions, I called people. And slowly, over weeks, I came around and I understood the medicine, I understood the risks, and I gave her my blessing. I was fine with it. But fine with it is not what tonight is about. April 19th, 2021, my wife donated her kidney. I watched her prepare. I watched her walk into the operating room. I watched her recover. But then something happened, and I still think about it almost every day. She woke up from surgery, and one of the first things she said to me was, still groggy, still in pain, still coming back to herself, was that she wished to do it all over again. I want you to sit on that for a moment. She had just given a part of her body. She was in pain. She was exhausted. And what she wanted more than anything was another chance to do it. This was the moment something cracked open in me, because I realized I had been looking at this entire thing the wrong way. I had been treating donation as a cost, something you weigh, something you survive, something you get through. And she was telling me from the other side of it, it wasn't a cost at all. It was the richest thing she had ever done, and she didn't want it to be over. That was the moment I knew I was going to donate. Not that day, not that year, but someday, because I wanted what she had. And here's what surprised me most. I didn't just decide to donate someday. I started living like someone who would. I changed how I ate all the time. Not a diet, a way of life. I started exercising. I started taking my own health seriously in a way I hadn't before. Not because anyone told me, not because I had a surgery date on the calendar, but because somewhere inside, without quite admitting it to myself, I had already become the person who could give a kidney. And I wanted to be ready for the day that person showed up. Her donation changed my body before it ever changed my body. 2 years ago, my brother and his wife donated altruistically. My brother's surgery, too, was right here at Mount Sinai. They didn't know the recipients. They simply knew someone, somewhere, was waiting, and they had something to give. I watched them, too, and every time I watched another person in my family do this, the same truth got louder. It wasn't about kidneys or medical procedures or saving lives, though, of course, it's all of those things, but it was about something more fundamental. It was about what we're here for. November 20th, 2024, I started the testing process, a full year of blood work and scans and clearances before they would let me do this. Along the way,
I danced at my son's wedding. 9 days later, I donated my kidney. And here's what nobody tells you about that day. This time, my wife was the one in the waiting room, the one watching the clock, the one who knew because she had been there herself, every single fear going through my head before they wheeled me back. She had lived this from the other side. Now she was living it from this side. And when I woke up, she was there. She looked at me and she didn't have to ask. She already knew. I have a wonderful life, 8 children, 4 of them married now, 6 grandchildren. I founded an ambulance response company. I've been an active EMT since 2005, responding to calls in my spare time, helping people in their most urgent moments. I've experienced things I'm grateful for, but nothing, and I mean nothing, has given me the sense of purpose, the depth of meaning, the quiet joy that this one act has given me. And now I understand what my wife meant 4.5 years ago when she said she wished she could do it again. Because here's the truth we don't talk about enough. The deepest fulfillment in a life doesn't come from what we accumulate. It comes from what
we're willing to part with when someone else needs it more. This is different. This reaches a place that nothing else does. I think about people, the person who has my kidney now, someone I may never meet, someone who is living a fuller life because of the decision I made. And I think about my wife's family member thriving. I think about the 2 people walking around, my brothers and sister-in-law's kidney, living lives that they might not have had. And then I think about something even bigger. When my wife donated, she didn't just give one life. She freed up the deceased donor kidney for someone else on the waiting list. 2 lives. My brother and his wife each donated. That's 4, which adds to 6, and that's okay. And when I donated, 2 more. So 8 lives changed because of the decisions of one family. But it's more than that. Every donor in this room tonight has created a ripple. Someone sees what you did and thinks, maybe I can do that. Someone's child grows up knowing that ordinary people do extraordinary things. An act of quiet generosity that nobody may ever see, the kind that costs you something real, carries more weight in the world than anything else we spend our lives chasing. I know some of you here tonight are donors, some of you are recipients, some of you are family members who supported someone through this journey. And some of you might be thinking about it, wondering if you could, if you should, if it's something you are called to do. Let me tell you what I wish someone had told me earlier, and I'm avoiding to say something that may sound upside down coming from a donor at a donor celebration. Donating was the most selfish thing I have ever done. I know that sounds wrong. The word donor is supposed to mean selfless. Every article, poster, every pamphlet, they all use that word. But I'm standing here telling you from the inside, that's not the whole story. Because when I received on November 25th, the weight of meeting, the quiet joy that has not left me since, the certainty that I used my one life for something that truly mattered, that belongs to me forever. Nobody can take it back, and there's nothing I could have bought, earned, or won in this world that would have given me what that day gave me. I gave up a kidney. I walked out of this hospital with something worth more. So if you're weighing this, you don't have to be special. You don't have to be a hero. You just have to be willing to let part of yourself go so someone else can live. And then let me tell you what I wish someone had told me. You're the one who walks out with a bigger gift.
There are over 90,000 people in this country right now waiting for a kidney. People whose lives are on hold, who are watching the clock hoping. And we, people watching this, people like us, we have the power to change that. Not because we're rich, not because we're important, not because anyone knows our names, but because we have something infinitely more valuable. We have the capacity to love, to give, to share, not just our resources, but ourselves. Before I close, there's one more thank you I have to say, and it's the most important one. I thank God for giving me the health to be able to do this, for giving me a body that could give, for putting me in a family, a community, and a time in history where this was even possible. Not everyone who wants to donate is medically able to. I was. This is not something I take credit for. This is a gift from above, and I am grateful for it every single day. So tonight, as we celebrate, I want us to remember something. The world will try to convince you that meaning comes from what you accumulate, what you achieve, what you experience, and those things have their place. But the deepest truth I know, the truth that my wife taught me when she woke up from surgery in 2021, that my brother and sister-in-law reinforced, that I learned in my own bones on November 25th is this: nothing else you do will ever reach this deep. Not the work, not the success, not the applause. Only this: letting a part of yourself pass into someone else willingly so that their life goes on. This is what we are made for. This is what matters. And I'm grateful, so deeply grateful, to be in a room full of people who know that, who have lived that, and who have given that gift. To every donor here, thank you. You didn't just save a life. You showed the rest of us what it means to be a human at our best. To every recipient and family member, your gratitude reminds us why we do this. You are the living proof that love in action changes everything. And to anyone here wondering if they could do this, you can. And when you do, you'll understand what I mean when I say this isn't sacrifice. It's the greatest gift you will ever give yourself. A gift, a life that mattered, a life of meaning, a life of love. Thank you. If you've watched this far, something in the story reached you. So let me ask you for 3 things. None of them cost what I gave. First, and this is the one that matters most, get swabbed. It takes 5 minutes. A cotton swab in your cheek, that's it. Your name goes into a database, and one day, maybe, you get a phone call. Mount Sinai has a program. Renewal has a program. Almost any major hospital in the country can do this. You don't have to decide today whether you donate. You just have to be willing to be asked. Most people never get the call. But the people who do, they get to save a life. So get on the list, be someone who could be called. Second, forward this video to one person, just one. Someone you think should see it, a family member, a friend, a coworker. Every time the story gets passed on, it reaches someone who might be ready to hear it. Maybe they get swabbed. Maybe they donate. Maybe, years from now, someone is alive because you sent a link. Third, if you want to support the organization that walked our family through this, donate to Renewal. Renewal has helped over 1,400 people get their lives back from kidney failure. They held our hands through every step of this process. My wife's donations, my brother and sister-in-law's, and mine. Our personal campaign page is in the description below. Any amount helps. Their life was on pause. Renewal helped start it up again. Swab, forward, donate, in that order. Thank you for watching, and from both Esti and me, thank you for being the kind of person who made it to the end of this video.